Welcome back to I Am Maria podcast. And today episode is different because I, Maria, will share something very personal with you. And this is something that I've been calling the onion theory because it is just like an onion. It describes layers, my layers. And each layer holds a story, maybe a challenge, maybe a gift. My layers are being a woman, being a young woman, being a mom, and being a Latina. And with that, I want to tell you how each of my layers have shaped me, and sometimes in a painful way, but always pushing me to grow. So, welcome to this beautiful episode of I Am Maria podcast, the onion theory of Maria. Let's start with the young layer. Most of my career, I have been the youngest in the room. And in many meetings, one of the only women, sometimes the only one. And that is very scary. And I can tell you how many times my experience has been dismissed just because I am young. People will probably smile politely, listen halfway, and then move on as if I was too young to understand or too young to actually contribute to the conversation. But what this type of people don't understand or didn't see is that being young also gave me something very powerful, and that is energy, fresh vision, and the courage to dream bigger. That's my value, right? Now, I've learned that young is not weak, and it is actually a possibility that opens a door to curiosity. So, yes, I got comments on maybe they hired this young professional because they get less paid, or comments just as, how would you know? Do you have enough experience to know? And that is not something that I will take personal. I used to see it in a way that maybe I could feel like I was less. But now this gives me the courage to continue to actually show and speak up my ideas and to be proud of myself when I come back home and I see that being young also, it's an opportunity to add new ideas on the table that they are well received. So let's talk about the woman layer. As a woman, you have to balance power with vulnerability. And vulnerability is something that it's being discussed nowadays more and more. I am very happy because I was able to participate in the QSR Evolution Conference 2025 this year here in Atlanta. And it was very nice to see how being vulnerable now is not bad. It actually opens the opportunity to better conversations within your team, within your organization. Of course, you gotta be careful with how open you are with your issues. But the simple topic that we know, work and life balance, is easier to understand, or is easier to have it in a conversation if you are vulnerable, especially if we have leaders that are vulnerable. So in this conference, we were speaking as well of the importance of sometimes taking off when you need it, or as a mother, having the opportunity to be with my son when he's sick, or to see him waking up and taking him to school, dropping him into school and picking him up as well. That is something that I am grateful to be able to have the opportunity, because I know many women, they don't have it, or in the past, we were not able to have it. So that actually takes me to my third layer, which is the mom layer. And, with the perspective that being a woman, brings something unique, brings empathy, resilient, and the ability to build bridges. Now, I understand that, being a woman, being a mom, it's also fire inside me, and reminds me every day that my word matters, and also my experience and my life existence in a way, right? So the mom layer is one of my favorite layers, because I believe that this changed everything in my life. Since I was a kid, very, very young, I remember that my favorite game was with, my babies, or when I was able to take care of my cousins. I always did. I had no issues on, feeding them or changing the diapers or making them go to sleep. I was actually pretty good at that. And I always knew, my biggest dream was to grow up so that I can work and become a mom. So when I became a mother, especially here in the US, many people around me thought, how am I going to fit this chapter into my life when I am a workaholic? And, I heard from many other women that actually when this happens, when you become a mother, you will actually magically become a super organized person. You will have more time and you will just figure it out. And in my head, it was like, how in the world this actually works? And it does work. We have the same 24 hours a day, but we are able to integrate now, or to really balance so many things at the same time that I was not able to do before. And I am very excited because I am going to record an episode with a CEO that she was speaking about this. We'll speak about this in the episode on how she sees that woman change after becoming a mother, especially because you're more empathetic. And I believe that we need more leaders that are empathetic with their team, that understand their needs, that understand as well the opportunities that they can bring or they can give to the people below them. And now that we women understand the capability that we have when we come together as a community, and we are vulnerable to speak from one to each other, to tell us what is it's something that has worked for us, or something that have not worked for us. Give the opportunity for a mother to sit on those important meetings, to lead a team, and you will be able to see that they can do it better than somebody else. Now, I have to say that when I gave birth, that was not my reality. I had no support system in a way. I actually had many people around me that was like, oh, she might not be able to do it all. She might not be able to even meet the expectations, because, we know what woman goes goes through, especially in postpartum, and all these new activities that will come along my way. And I felt somehow that, the weight of expectations. And I will never forget how much it hurt me when I was asked to go back to the office just after my son was a newborn. He was 4 months old, 4 months old. So I'm gonna have to say that I am very grateful that today, companies actually allow us the time to be there, to be present, and still, to have the opportunity to come back to work. But in my case, we were just in the middle of the pandemic. Uh, I was doing everything at work. When I do something, when I have a project or when I have a position, let me tell you, I work with so much passion that I'm always looking the way to knock it out of the park. And I do it. I really put a lot of time and effort and passion to work like this. So I was doing everything at work. I was breastfeeding my son. So, only I was exclusively breastfeeding, and I was giving all. I was giving it all as a mom, as a professional, but still that was not enough. And that actually broke me because I was like, no empathy, in a way. But that taught me the leader that I didn't want it to be. And within that opportunity with the company I work with right now, or work for not right now, which is Papa John's, came into the game. And that was actually moving into a new city, which felt like another mountain. But this movement was so easy that I knew was going to bring so much into my family. So that's where I met Jennifer, my boss at that moment. And she gave me something that I never had before. And that was a real support system. She taught me the importance of balance, but also remind me of the responsibility I had to keep knocking my projects out of the park in a way, to keep meeting expectations and to run my profession as I am capable of doing it. So every time I see Jennifer, just like I did this last week, I tell her how much I appreciate her and the space, that special place that she has in my heart, for being an amazing leader, trusting me on the way I wanted it to build the projects and do things and approach the franchisees and the vendors. Always giving me, of course, her experience, which I think it's amazing, but also showing me how is that we women can do it all. We can balance it all, and we can still be an amazing professional and an amazing woman and mother. So thank you, Jennifer. And thank you for the whole team. Papa John's is being amazing on that. I have a hybrid work schedule. So 2 days a week I work in the office, and 2 days a week I work at home, and 3 days a week I work in the office. But they are very flexible in terms of, if Enzo, my son, is sick, or if I can make it to the office, I still know that I have the flexibility to work from home. So I will do whatever it takes to make the project, to make or meet my expectations. But having this hybrid schedule makes a whole difference, especially when you have to balance those difficult days and still wanting to meet your professional, and in my case, my big professional dreams. And last but not least, my Latina layer. The one that took me, I will say, longest to embrace it fully. For years, I struggled with my accent. I am a perfectionist and I wanted it to, not have an accent. But one day I realized that this is how my tongue is built. You know, I won't be able to pronounce things correctly sometimes. And asking me to erase my accent is like asking, in a way, an American to roll the R, the R perfectly, right? It's just not natural. Like we can't do it, right? But my compromise is on trying to make it perfect. Yeah, at least to try. So here I'm trying, and it's not my first language, but I know that this opportunity, it's something that just opened more opportunities into my life. And I decided to own it, my accent, together with my name, María Fernanda Valero, became something unique. And it's my flavor, a flavor that makes me authentic. So being a Latina, I have to say that also shapes me as a leader. I will speak that on a panel that we have in Papa John's to celebrate the Heritage Month. And it's all about the power of community, of working together. I believe that that's something my Latina culture brings me. The value of relationships, just as we value results. So being a Latina gives me the rhythm, the color, and the fire that I bring and I put into everything I do. And looking across generations, which is one of the purpose in I Am Maria podcast, is when I look at my layers, I also think about generations, right? And I want to say to the younger generation that your dreams are possible. You just have to know your values. You just have to know what you're good at, what is your passion, so that you can live from your passion. But please know that it does require a hard work. It does require your discipline, but don't let anyone tell you otherwise, because you can do it all. You can do it all. To my own generation, I want to tell you that we need to walk together. We need to walk this road together, because when we are together, we are stronger, and that way we can support each other. That's why I'm bringing real stories as well, so that we can relate and we can keep motivating ourselves, as well as inspiring one to each other. And to the generations before me, thank you. Thank you for opening the doors that now allow me and allow us to stand here, and hopefully to open more doors for others. So that is my onion theory. Woman, young woman, mother, and Latina. And each layer has made me cry at some point, but each one has also made me stronger and more authentic. So together, they make who I am, Maria. And now I want to invite you to think about your layers. What are they? Which ones do you protect, and which ones are the ones you're ready to peel back and share with the world? because in the end, our layers are not made to hide us, but they are made to reveal us. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and the ones that are coming next. And please let me know which topics you would like to explore in I Am Maria podcast, because I will be happy to continue the conversation. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to make a comment, and to share, because that way we can get to more people and grow more as a community. Until the next time, I am Maria. Thank you for being here.